Hello guys, Omni here. While I have a moment, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way because I've been putting it off for a little while now. I want to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts and opinions, my review for DC Universe's Doom Patrol. I've talked about this a little bit before when I made a video about it a couple months back when the show first was starting to get its legs. I gave it the first 3 episodes, I believe, and gave my general impressions on how I felt about the show going forward and whether or not it was good. Because if you know from what I've talked about before, I didn't really enjoy Titans. My favorite episode in that entire season, that first season of Titans, was the Doom Patrol episode. That was the best episode to me. I think it worked the best, and I, based on that, was willing to give the benefit of the doubt to the new Doom Patrol series. And I have to say that after finishing it, from beginning to end, it is one of my favorite shows. Not just superhero shows, it's one of my favorite shows that I've seen on television in a long time, given this is exclusive in the United States to the DC Universe app, at least until the app gets integrated into Warner's streaming service when that comes out, because they're dropping the DCU app from what I understand, and it's going to be incorporated into their overall company platform once that's released. A la Disney Plus kind of situation there, kind of keeping everything in-house. Now, this show is not for kids. Doom Patrol really pushes the limits on this. Titans, I could make a valid argument for, like, some older kids watching that and getting away just fine. I definitely disagree with that statement for Doom Patrol. This is not for kids. This is not for children. This is an adult show. There's nudity, there's sex, there's graphic violence, and just a lot of nightmare fuel, and just, yeah, it's an adult show. And I enjoyed the crap out of it. There's so many ridiculous concepts in this show, and when you're going through it, you're like, there's no way this was in the source material. This is just too insane. What is this character? And they're all references and callbacks to something from the Doom Patrol series. This group, this team isn't really one of the superhero teams I'm that familiar with. I've heard of them, but I've never read a Doom Patrol comic. But lo and behold, almost everything throughout the show has a point of reference in the comic book, and I'm just like, how does this exist? Why did this exist? But it all works. This is the most bizarre show I've ever seen on TV. But it's also got so much heart. These characters in here, they're all broken, they're all damaged, they're all scarred human beings, and it's really about the characters themselves. This is a purely, unlike most superhero shows these days, which is about being a superhero. It's about being the character, the person, your responsibilities and all that stuff. And it still has some of those elements sprinkled into it, but this is a character-driven story. This is about the characters, their own personal arcs, their personal stories, and their growth throughout. And they all grow throughout the season, and is about how that payoff towards the end really kind of gets to be there with the overarching plot connecting everything together. And Alan Tudyk as the villain, Mr. Nobody, is fantastically hilarious as the narrator and the main villain. And it's just, what they do in this show is something I have not seen in anything else. It's ridiculous, and it's not going to be for everybody. It's insanely far-fetched sometimes. Some of the concepts, like I say, just are bonkers. And that won't work for a lot of people who like their superheroes to be completely serious or whatever. But I think this is a really fantastic, unique, one-of-a-kind show, and I definitely recommend it. I recommend the DCU app purely for this show, even if you just sign up for a month, binge this, and dip, because it's all on there now. This season is concluded. It's all on there. Before, they were releasing these once per week, but the show's concluded, at least for this season, and then they'll be ramping up here not too long from now for the new series, Swamp Thing. I talked a little bit about my feelings about Doom Patrol and my reaction to that trailer for Swamp Thing the other day as well. I loved it. The only complaint I have about the show really is I think there's there's a couple of moments, definitely in the middle bulk of the show, where some of the characters, their arcs kind of get stuck in like limbo for a little while, and you see a lot of characters kind of recycling some of the same situations, but the episode plot allows you to disconnect from that enough to not really be distracted by the fact that they're kind of going through the motions in a way, which is, normal. And that is definitely a thing that happens, especially with characters that are going through these kinds of emotional events and these plot threads that they're all dealing with as well. So it makes sense. It's just sometimes it's just like, all right, come on, we dealt with this last episode, move forward. And mentally, in the real world, sometimes that's just not how it works. And I think that's really what they're going for in this. They're really dealing with the mental pain and stresses that these characters and the tragedies that put them in these situations and the way that they're dealing with them are the primary focus of the show. And it's fantastic. This show is insane. That's every episode is insane. Ridiculous. There's so many concepts in this that I was just like, who and why would have put that on the page, and nonetheless to put it on screen. But it works. It works for the show. It makes the show stand out and refreshes just this kind of stagnant genre of superhero films and TV shows and whatnot. And this is definitely a refreshing entry, especially considered how saturated the market is for this now, with MCU, with DC, with everybody else jumping in on the superhero train as well. This show is a palate cleanser, to say the least, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. If you've seen the show, this is that point where I'm going to pass this off to you guys. What have you guys thought? What's holding you back from checking out Doom Patrol, aside from the having to sign up for the app part? At least now, like I said, you can argue you can get that free trial, finish the series, and dip at this point. While the series are new, they really catch you with that, because they get you with the weekly releases on each episode. So it's always best, I would say, if you're not really committed to the app itself, just wait until the show's concluded its season. Then you can sign up, binge it, and then cancel. That's my recommendation for that if you're really sketchy on the app and what it offers itself. If you like comics, though, I'm not sponsored by this by any means. Look at my channel. I just think there's definitely some value in here for DC comic fans. There's a ridiculous comic book library on here that you get just as being a member of the app. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comics and storylines that you can read online. And I think that's really interesting. It's allowed me to really dive into some of these characters a lot more than I've been able to, rather than just reading about them on the DC Wiki. Anyway, guys, I'm rambled enough for this, so I'm sorry. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to support the channel and hit that like button for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. You all take care.